welcome to the channel. This is the first pickups video on this channel. I'm going to do some of my recent gaming pickups. We've got some retro stuff, we've got some more recent games, VR, hardware, and a few digital games as well. So I'm just going to jump right in. We've got Medieval, the remake coming out in October on PlayStation 4, so I got the original Medieval. I got this in CEX. I think it was about 18 quid, which I thought was a bit overpriced, but I haven't played this since it came out in the 90s on PlayStation 1. So yeah, I got this. Unfortunately, a little label on there, but apart from that, it was in great condition. And it's a fantastic hack and slash adventure game. Yeah, save the world type stuff. Okay, go a bit more up to date. VR. I recently live streamed this, Blood and Truth. If you played London Heist on PlayStation VR Worlds, it's made by the same guys, London Studios, I believe. And yeah, it's a very similar game, but it's a complete game. It took about 5.5 hours all the way through, so it's not that long, but there's a lot to do. It's a first-person shooter, basically. But it's good. It's really enthralling. And I'm a big fan of VR as well, and I get quite motion sick really easily. This did make me sick, but only after about an hour's gameplay at a time, which is enough anyway for me at a time doing VR, so it worked out quite well, and I have live streamed it on this channel. Okay, now recently completed Days Gone. This had mixed reviews to begin with. I think it's kind of done alright now in the reviews. I thought it was a fantastic game. I love zombie survival stuff, but there was so much to do in it. It was ridiculous, and especially when you end up fighting zombie hordes, and it's just amazing fun. Storyline's really good. Big cliffhanger at the end. No spoilers, but yeah, great game. Okay, do another old one here. This is the Super Nintendo Super Star Wars. This is actually no price still on it. No, I got this in GeForce in Glasgow, right next to Central Station. There's a lot of retro games, modern games in there. This is the USA version. I wouldn't usually get different region games, but I now have the Retro Freak console, which allows me to play any region games. I don't have a chipped Super Nintendo. I believe my NES is chipped. But yeah, fantastic game, Super Star Wars, classic. Now we have some Nintendo Switch games. I recently got Max Curse of the Brotherhood. This is a sequel to Max and the Magic Marker, which I believe was released on DS. I didn't play that. But it's a side-scrolling platformer. It looks really good. You're using a magic marker to kind of solve puzzles and join up parts of the world for him to progress. I think it was about 12 quid out of game, which I don't often find reasonably priced games in game. But yeah, I was quite happy with that. So another Switch game, Final Fantasy 12 Remastered. I had to do it. I played the original on the PS2 back in the day. This has the Remastered has the job system, which was only released in Japan at the time, I believe. So yeah, I played the original. I got the digital Remastered on the PS4, and I just felt like having an up-to-date hard copy of this. So yeah, very different Final Fantasy game. If you played the series, like a lot of people played it, like myself, from 7 onwards from the PS1. This is a very different feel to it, but still great story. Okay, shooter. Side-scrolling shoot 'em up. Sine Mod X. I used to pronounce it Sine Mod EX, but I've been informed that that's wrong. So Sine Mod EX, yeah, fantastic little game. I think it's incredibly difficult, but yeah, it's great fun. Side-scrolling shooter. This kind of steampunk style. I've just dropped it. But yeah, definitely worth a play. Super Mario Maker 2. I had Super Mario Maker on the 3DS, which was great fun. This is fantastic. It's just great to play. Some people are really sadistic with the courses that they make, and yeah, but it means you can do it back. I made a really simplistic one, which because I'm not very creative, but it's fun to play other people's courses. There is a story mode as well, and you just play some kind of classic Mario to unlock stuff. Okay, where are we? A couple of PlayStation 3 games. I'll do these together. I got these because they were really cheap in CEX, I believe. Sorcery and Aragorn's Quest, Lord of the Rings, neither of which I've played or know anything about, but I did not have PlayStation Move on the PlayStation 3 at the time. In fact, I was quite late getting into the PlayStation 3, but these are PlayStation Move controls required, so I'm really interested to see how these play out, but I think they were literally a couple of quid for the two of them in CEX. So, okay, hardware. We have the Bandai WonderSwan. The WonderSwan, if you're not familiar with it, was a Japanese release only handheld console. You see the console there. I'm not going to take it out of the wrapper. It's not sealed. The game is sealed. I wanted this because it's the Final Fantasy artwork on it. I just thought it was amazing. These were, I think it came out in 1999, and I believe the intention was to release in other parts of the world, but I think the maker of it, the guy designed it, passed away or something like that, and it just didn't come to anything. But very popular in Japan. This is the WonderSwan color. There is a standard black and white WonderSwan. The WonderSwan color is not backlit, unfortunately, which is kind of strange to play on backlit screens now. We're so used to it. But it came with Final Fantasy. I also got it bundled with Final Fantasy 2. The problem with this device is that it's in Japanese, so there are very few games that you can actually play as an English speaker. However, nice to have in the collection. There are a few games which my intention is to get and hopefully review some of these games. So yeah. Okay, Dark Rift. Again, this is a fighter, actually. I believe it was a port of the Sega Saturn game. This is for the Nintendo 64. A fighter. I've played a few levels on it. Yeah, it's got, your typical Tekken style, but you're using swords and things like that. Yeah, good fun. Okay, now I have to do this one. I managed to pick up. I'm not going to show you the console because I wanted a second Commodore 64. I wanted that as a permanent setup in my game room. So I've got a really good quality Commodore box that I keep locked away, and I've got a kind of, it's not damaged, just not as nice to look at, that I have permanently set up in the game room. And I got it as part of a Light Fantastic game bundle. So it came with the Defender 64 gun, and it also came bundled with a few games. It came in the packet. I believe these two were actually bundled with the original Commodore, Army Days and Time Traveller. I have loaded up to see if they load. I haven't actually played them. I think I'll need to hook up my CRT TV to get the light gun to work. And they also came with, well, Batman. This isn't a light. Don't think this is a light gun. Batman Cape Crusader. It rings a bell playing this way back. I can't remember much about it. I think I had the disc, Commodore disc Batman game, but I forget which one that was. And then Blaze Out collection. This is Combat School, Hyper Sports, Platoon, Rambo 3, and RoboCop. Yeah, fantastic. And the reason I still get tapes, I have a digital tape deck for the Commodore 64, which I got off eBay. Basically, it has an SD card in it. You hook it up, it has a connection to hook to the cassette tape port on the Commodore. You can convert, I mean, you could just put ROMs on it if that's the way you want to go. You can convert, so I can play this into my computer, buy the .tap conversion software, which is really cheap, convert the audio files to .tap files, put that onto the SD card, and you can then play Commodore games through original hardware, preserving the cassette tape. The reason I think that's important is that these tapes, all cassette tapes, were only meant to have a life of about 30 years. Most of these are well over, well, this one's not, it's quite a more recent one, but they are now 30 plus years old. some of my Acorn Electron games, far older and still working, but only because they're well stored. And I mean, if I can back them up and preserve them, still use original hardware and controller, then I'm happy. So yeah, that was those ones. Batman. Where are we? Yeah, another Switch game, Sonic Team Racing. I had to do this. I loved Mario Kart. It was fantastic. And I was talking about Final Fantasy. I just don't have enough time anymore to be playing JRPGs. JRPGs was always my favourite genre. But slowly but surely I'm getting into games that I can just play on the go, especially using the Switch, because you just don't have time anymore to be playing 50 hours, 100 hours on a JRPG. So Sonic Team Racing, yeah, just like we've got Crash Team Racing as well. I haven't tried that. But yeah, this is a great little game. It's a bit different from Mario Kart in that it's team based. You can play with friends, or you can play, or you can play online, or you can play with the characters on here, and you use power ups to go past each other and work as a team. So yeah, it's good. Sniper Elite version 2 remastered. Yeah, great game. But you get to kill Hitler. I mean, what's not to like? But yeah, this is a remake. I actually don't know what console this was originally out on. I kind of bypassed the Sniper Elite games when they were originally released. I can't remember which one I played first, but I think it's from about 2009. Probably wrong about that. But yeah, it's good fun. I've played a few levels on it so far, and it's, yeah, enjoyable game. I'd also like to do a few digital mentions. I try to buy the hard copy of games where I can. But yeah, a few digital games. Beat Saber VR, I highly recommend. Fantastic. A game with the motion sickness. I didn't experience it at all with this game. It's kind of like Guitar Hero. You've got the boxes coming towards you, and you slash with the move controllers in the direction shown. Rhythm game. Cuphead. One of my favourite games at the moment. I need to get I need to get the cartridge for that eventually for the collection. I couldn't help myself. It's a kind of 40s cartoon looking. It's a great little. It's a run and gun as well. You're fighting. I think you've sold your soul to the devil. Cuphead and Mugman have sold the soul to the devil after losing a dice game, and they have to go around fighting all these bosses to get the contracts back for the souls for the devil. And then I think I'm literally at the boss fight at the end, which is the devil. It's an incredibly difficult game, but great fun. DayZ, I have to mention DayZ. My friends and I played DayZ back when it was first just the mod for Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead. We then went on to play all the mods. Epoch, we had our own Origins server for God knows how many years. It's now on PlayStation 4, Xbox. It's got its bugs. They are not. It's not short of bugs. But if you like open world survival, base building, things like that, fantastic game. Then there's Masquerader, Songs and Shadows, which is a tactical RPG. And by that I mean it's like Baldur's Gate, and you can pause the gameplay. It's a cel-shaded look to it, set in a Venetian world. Great fun. I'm a couple of hours in. It's quite an in-depth story, which requires a lot of concentration, I found. But yeah, definitely worth a look. Okay, and lastly, we have the Retron 77. I talked about game preservation. That was my reasoning for getting this. The Retron 77 is by Hyperkin. They did the Retron 5 along with other things. Basically, it comes with the console, which you can plug Atari 26 game cartridges into. It also comes with the controller, which I do have out here. Controller, if you notice, very similar to the original Atari controller, except it's got these little grooves, which is fantastic for your hand because it used to dig in on the original Atari controller. And it's also got two buttons, which is for left and right-handed, which is very thoughtful. I am left-handed, so that's very nice of them. But yeah, basically, the only downside of this is I believe there may be a hack to it now, but you can only store up to about 18 ROMs, so you can rip the cartridge that you put in onto here, but you can only do that with 18 games, which is a real shame. And I haven't looked into if you can mod it or not. I think I've heard that you can, but like you could with the Commodore 64 Mini, you could hack that and put as many games on it as you wanted, which was great. So yeah, fantastic, and it goes on to game preservation. It means that I get to play my Atari 2600 games through this, and I can preserve the original hardware. It sits in its box, and I'm happy with that. I want to have that working, in years to come. I don't want to break it and have to buy another one and another one, because these things aren't going to last forever. If we keep making these, I know it's emulation, but you are playing with the original cart and an original controller. Especially with the Retro Freak, the Retron 5 similar. I went for the Retro Freak console because it played a lot more. There was an extra plug-in that you could play quite a few more games, the Game Gear games and stuff like that. But it means that I get to play. I can rip on the Retro Freak. I can rip my cartridge to the SD card in the Retro Freak. Thereby, it's totally legal. I get to use there's a connector that means I can use the original controller. And it just means that I'm still getting that exact same feel of playing it, and I'm preserving my original hardware after the initial putting in of a game and copying it to the SD card, and then preserving my cartridge collection as well, which is fantastic. So yeah, Retro 77, highly recommend it. I'm going to have to look into whether there's a hack so we can get more than 18 ROMs on it, which is a bit annoying. And I'm hoping to do, I think the next thing I'll be reviewing is I'll do the Retro Freak console, and I'm hoping to review the Sega Mega Drive Mini when that comes out. I'd thought about possibly reviewing the Capcom Home Arcade, but I'm not sure about value for money for that one, but you can let me know in the comments. But thank you very much for watching. Please click to subscribe and like. Thank you.